Thanks for joining us on The Insight. Remember, The Insight is that program where we bring to you the habit of issues, policies, politics, power, personalities shaping our nation. I am Uche Osai. They say in politics, there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies, only permanent interest. But in the last 72 hours, the Nigerian political chessboard hasn't just seen a move. It has undergone a seismic shift that threatens the very axis of 2027. The headlines are unmistakable. Peter Obi and Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso have officially walked away from the ADC-led mega alliance, citing a clog of Lego traps and internal suspicion to pitch their tent with a new platform, the Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC. To some, this is a masterstroke, a South-North handshake designed to pass the traditional gatekeepers and unify the two most potent grassroots movements in modern Nigerian history, the Obidients and the Kwankwasiyya. To others, however, this looks like the Great Fragmentation, a move that risks cannibalizing the opposition vote and handing a clear path to the incumbency. Today, we peel back the layers of this realignment. Is this a strategic retreat to a clean slate, or is it the final nail in the coffin of opposition unity? Are we witnessing the birth of a formidable third force, or a repeat of the fractured meat that defined 2023 polls? Joining us to dissect the implications, the optics, and the raw political arithmetic of this move is Dr. Gustin Eze, a seasoned public affairs analyst. Doc, it's a pleasure to have you on The Insight.
Thank you very much for having me.
Doc, let's just dig deep into this issue. But before we get to this matter, let me ask, do you have a crystal ball somewhere that you used to forecast and predict the next political move in Nigeria?
I'm a public affairs analyst.
Okay.
I would say I'm ubiquitous. I'm always present everywhere. Whenever I say something, I mean it I'm a realist. I'm not an idealist. Most people are idealists. They believe that things should be the way they think about it, without thinking it critically and then making sure it is a realistic decision they want to take. So to me, the Nigerian political atmosphere now, I don't even look at it as charged.
You don't look at it as charged?
Yes, I don't. Because one, who is the opposition against the present ruling party? Who is the opposition? Is it Atiku? Or is it Obi or Kwankwaso or Amaechi? I know in history, as a student of history, there's no place in the world that realignment works or worked. Political, no place in history. What works is merging. The opposition today in Nigeria, I can't really fix it, but they got it wrong from the beginning. If they had gone out to register another political party, but the question now, who are merging? Atiku is in PDP. Amaechi is in APC. Peter Obi is in Labour Party. And then Kwankwaso, NNPP. Did all these political parties, were they controlling the parties in such a way that they can suppress their identity in order to get another political party as opposition? If you can remember, before Buhari came into power, there was a merger of political parties, not individuals. NNPP suppressed its identity. CPC, led by Buhari, suppressed its identity. ACN, led by Tinubu, suppressed its identity. Rachel Sokolocha in Afghan suppressed its identity. Then, with the suppression of these identities, they dovetailed into what is known today as APC. And as they were doing that, there was an arrowhead. They know that Buhari controls 12 million votes in the north, no matter how you put it. So they were looking at him as an arrowhead. So because they suppressed the identity and they've dovetailed to APC, it was easy for them to dislodge the incumbent. But what are these? Sometimes I imagine if they are reasonable enough. You say alliance or alignment. Which party are they coming from? What are they bringing to the board? Take for instance, Peter Obi, if we look at his trajectory politically, he was the governor of Anambra State under the platform of APGA. He moved from APGA immediately after his tenure ended to PDP. There he contested the presidency with Atiku. They lost. When there was to be another primary in PDP, he saw that he would not get the ticket. He jumped to Labour Party. And when a leader is known, like they said, a good mariner is identified during a turbulent sea. A leader should be able to solve problems, current and emerging problems. All the places Peter Obi went, there were crises. And as a leader, you should stand and resolve the problem, call them together. But he never did that. That is migrating from one party to another. So the issue of alignment does not arise in this case. That's why I said there's no position. Okay, who is going to be the presidential candidate? Now the so-called opposition ADC has split. And then people are touting Kwankwaso. What is the political base of Kwankwaso for now? The Kwankwasiyya in Kano, where he was holding sway under NNPP. As it is today in Kano, does he hold sway? His political ally, the governor, is no longer with him. Then what is the base of Peter Obi? Which state does he have sway? Forget about the imaginary so-called Obidients.
Doc, let me cut in a bit. We'll talk about the imaginary. You are talking about individuals who were in the race in 2023.
Yes.
You talk about which state does he have. He has 6 million votes, over 6 million votes in his kitty. Kwankwaso has over 1 million votes in his kitty as well.
The scenario that played out that time no longer plays out now. The scenario has changed.
You're saying that the
dynamics has changed.
Get us into those dynamics that have changed because we are dealing with an incumbency.
Well, like you have mentioned, as at that time, Tinubu was not an incumbent.
But of the ruling political party.
He was of the ruling political party. But now he's incumbent. Are you following? What is the implication of an incumbent for somebody like Tinubu, who is well grounded in politics? So that time, it was Buhari who was in power. Tinubu wasn't the president. Okay? If you remember or recall, the last 2023 election, for the first time in our history, tilted towards ethnicity and religion. Okay? That time, Tinubu chose a Muslim as his vice. Peter Obi and others, Christians, felt that it was not good for them. They voted against.
They felt it was not good for Nigeria.
Yes. They voted, that's why I'm telling you why they voted against one of the scenarios that played out that time.
Okay.
Then, if you look at the ethnicity, the Igbo man felt that an Igbo man is contesting for the presidency and they should vote on Igbo man. I've just given you about a few examples of the scenario that played out that time that will not play out this time.
Looking at the submission here, let's be a little bit practical. One is that in Nigeria, an incumbent have been defeated. President Goodluck Jonathan was defeated. That's one. And when we look at the factors here, there are two key issues. One, religion. Are you saying that the northern Christians, for example, who were very vocal against the Muslim ticket, would in this time support the Muslim ticket instead of aligning with a balanced ticket? And then the Igbos that have always clamored for, bringing it together.
Clamored for what?
For Igbo presidency. Are you saying that in this time around they are going to abandon a P2B in this instance?
You see, let me just make a clarification.
Okay.
The issue of Muslim ticket or Muslim Christian ticket does not arise now.
Why?
You are still, if it should arise now, it means we are going back to what played out 2023.
Doc,
okay?
Doc, sorry, I have to, for the sake of history, what were the factors that played out in 2023 necessitating a Muslim ticket that is no longer obtainable now?
Well, the issue is that the president now, like I said before, was not an incumbent. You mentioned Jonathan. I was part of the, well, what I may call I was part of that Jonathan when he was defeated. Even the Northerners who were his friends, his colleagues in the same party, betrayed him because they wanted a Northern candidate and a Northern president. So that was why, even when the election result was announced, he was handicapped. Because I remember the national chairman of APC that time, Mazu from Bauchi State. He was asked why he couldn't deliver his state.
Mazu, that's PDP.
PDP. He was asked why he couldn't deliver his party, Bauchi. He said that he doesn't have the magic wand, that the pressure was too much. Okay? So in that case, I witnessed the election campaign of Jonathan in Kaduna. Before he arrived at the stadium was filled to the brim. Because as soon as he entered the podium, everybody says, Sai Buhari, Mutum Gaskia. Within 10 minutes, the stadium became empty. I'm only trying to say that this time around, let us say you look at P2B's ambition. I saw, of course, I don't believe much on this social media, but I know they have said he has gone into NDC now, from ADC to NDC. See, he's migrating to another political party. How consistent is that?
Do we blame him? No.
You blame him for what?
We blame him when, according to him, and obviously the information available is that the state has a hand in destabilizing opposition in Nigeria.
Which state?
The ruling government.
That's why I told you that the scenario at that time is not the same thing. Now, Tinubu is the incumbent. So, and if you like Muhammad Ali said it, any opponent that stands in the ring before you don't have anything you can do to knock him out.
So we're looking at a state-controlled political environment that doesn't want a fair play and opposition that will challenge it.
That's nothing. I told you earlier that the opposition has not put its acts in order. They have not done anything to show that the opposition. Okay, now is it Tinubu, Kwankwaso and Obi are hobnobbing? Even though Kwankwaso has not said it clearly that is why he should run deputy to Tinubu, to P2B. He has not said it expressly. And then what is he bringing on board? But if you look at the ruling party, they have come a long way. What I'm trying to stress is that the opposition did not put its house in order. If from the time they mentioned that opposition, if they had, nobody was coming from a political party where he had control. They were only members of the different political parties. So they couldn't have carried the party to merge with another party, to form another new party. That was why in the recent past, Erufai said that if they had formed another political party with a different name, but even at that, about 5 presidential candidates are in the same coalition. How do you sort it out? That was why I said sometime that it would collapse.
Indeed, he did say that it will collapse. Doc, who do we blame for the crisis we are having with the opposition political parties?
They didn't put their house in order.
That's cited as one of the reasons why he had to leave the ADC. Now,
he's a migrant politician. I've been moving from one party to another. So it's a common attribute to him.
In fairness to him, I listened to Buba Galadima, and part of the things he said is that the incumbent president has equally moved from one party to the other. Transition from AD to AD, AD to AC, from AC to ACN, then until he got to APC.
It's not true. It's not true.
No, Doc.
APC,
we were aware that Bola Tinubu was in AD and left AD.
So
moved to AD.
During that time, he was not thinking of merging or a coalition with another political party. He was moving as an individual. But when he wanted to dislodge the incumbent, he had to go into merger with other political parties. He was holding sway in ACN from the southwest. Buhari was holding sway in the north. The late Dr. Owoneon was ANPP in the east. The same thing with Rochas Okorocha, APGA. They subsumed their identity and came up with another name. And that was the, if you remember, I remember Mrs. Clinton, that was the day he visited Nigeria. He told them the only way you can dislodge incumbent is to form a merger. If you say all these gladiators now, if you want them to come, which party is P2B going to say he's bringing on board? Which party is Amechi bringing on board? Which party is Atiku bringing on board? Which party is Kwankwaso bringing on board? They are members of political parties. They are not in control of the party where they can merge and then think about dislodging an incumbent. That's why I feel that there's no opposition, because they are not organized. They are not organized.
Or do we say that the state is not allowing them to organize?
It's how? How? From at the initial, they didn't put their house in order. And they're blaming it. If they, after the election, if they lose, they say they rigged it. Where were you when they were rigging it? They will tell you. That is the perception of so many people.
Though, like you rightly submitted, that the times have changed. A lot of people, and I've spoken to many political analysts like you as well, who are equally of the view that the changing time is one that people are no longer dependent on the old platforms, the old structures, old political structures in this instance, that the structure has moved into the hands of the people. And when you look at it, P2B commands an army of Obidients, youths in Nigeria.
Where is the office?
You look at Kwankwaso as well. He commands a multitude as well.
Where?
From the north.
Kwankwaso?
Yes.
He won only Kano. Mark you. Kwankwaso. He won only Kano State. And the Kano State, as we speak now, the governor has defected to APC. So many senators have also defected to APC. What is he going to say about it? That's why I told you the scenario at that time is different from what it is now.
But they are citing that these are movements and not party men.
This is the movement. What is movement? What is movement? When the time comes, the incumbent will come out with all resources it has.
With all resources?
Yes. At his disposal.
Doc, you know, I'm just a journalist who is looking keenly on this issue and observing and documenting history. You know, part of the argument that, in fairness to the opposition, they would cite is that second term has to be based on scorecards. And would you, in fairness to the opposition, be able to say that the incumbent administration has this, delivered on the things they promised?
let me go by what Peter Obi has promised. He promised to stay 110. Are you aware of that?
I've heard that. I've not heard from him directly.
110 is 4 years. And he believes that if he comes for 4 years, he will fix Nigeria. Is it possible? Mark my words, go and note what I'm saying today. This coming election, people from Southwest is going to produce the largest number of votes among all the 6 geopolitical zones. Note it today.
But Makinde would want to disagree with you.
Who is Makinde? Makinde is going out.
Governor for your state.
He's going out. Makinde is going out. He's completing his term.
He controls the structures in Oyo State.
Now let me tell you, if you look at the last election, Oyo State gave Tinubu about 450,000 votes. Oyo State. And Peter Obi scored less than 10,000. What does that show you?
Tell me.
No, I'm only trying to tell you that you are mentioning Makinde as is going to be a factor in this time around. The Southwest are seeing it as the East trying to scuttle their chances of completing the tenure, the second tenure. That's the way they see it.
Do you agree to that analysis?
Yes, now. Yes.
But, Doc,
I don't care. No.
a little, I have to play a little bit of the devil's advocate here. Down southeast here, the opinion, and I've interacted with quite a lot, and the opinion is that the Southwest has scuttled the opportunity to gain the presidency in 2023. And in this instance, there are still a roadblock to achieving that.
Politics is not a matter of imagination. You have to work hard. You don't sit in your house and being sentimental. We are being denied the opportunity. Igbo man hasn't been president. How are you trying to? South is a block. Which can only Southeast deliver anybody as a president? And the answer is no. You have to go into alliance with other blocks. As I speak to you, recently the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Edo State, Kasima February, he was formerly the PA to Babangida. He was on air. He said that the North would not like somebody who will come and have the opportunity of staying for 8 years. That it's better they have somebody whom they know will stay 4 years and go away. These are some of the things that will influence the voting pattern. Note my words. I remember in Enugu State when Ugwuanyi was going for election for the second term. Ayogo came and was contesting with him. Ayogo had influence. He had the popularity. But when Ugwuanyi went to Kan, he told them that after me, it is your turn. Are you bringing somebody who will stay 8 years and you have to wait for 12 years? It penetrated. Do you understand me? So it's not a matter of, the calculation must be realistic. You see, the Igbo man has become so sentimental about this country. If you have history on your side, Zik and Oparadem, they had always gone into alliance with others. They were not doing it alone. It was because of NPP, NPN Accord that produced Edwin Umezuoke as the Speaker of House of Rep that time. You must go into alliance with others. If it is this thing we are doing here, it can never work.
What do we hold against Peter Obi this time around? He's speaking to alliance. He has gone into alliance. A handshake across the Niger.
I'm telling you that alliance is not working.
With Kwankwaso here.
If you do not, I will see Kwankwasiyya as a betrayer.
In what
as
way?
I speak.
In what way?
I just don't know, but I know they are not looking at him with a good eye. He wants to, anyway, until Peter Obi announces him as his deputy.
All right, Doc. Let's backtrack. Let's get to go back to the opposition. Who do we blame for the fragmentation we're witnessing with the opposition, especially as it has to do with the ADC?
I blame them for not putting their house in order.
Who are we blaming in particular here? Do we blame an article that...
All the gladiators, Atiku, Obi, Ambechi, Kwankwaso.
Let's share the blame.
All of them, they equally have the same share. Okay, how can 4 presidential candidates, aspirants rather, go into alliance. Who steps down for who? That is why they have split now into 2. One group is still remaining with ADC. Another group have gone into NDC. For how long will you, if you don't put your house in order? That's why I said the mistake the opposition made from the beginning was that they would have talked about merging. But even when you are merging, it means you are coming, there's a political party, you are not a political party you belong to, but a political party you are in control. Then you suppress your identity. Then with others who also will suppress the identity, then you come up with a new political party. So they are blaming, I wonder why they are blaming anybody for what they should have done, which they didn't do.
Looking at this whole situation here, we are calling for the APC, not because there's any notable changes they've brought about. When you talk with ordinary Nigerians who are looking at the prices of food, jobs, insecurity in Nigeria, these are what matters to the people, and these are the issues the opposition will campaign with against the incumbent and the ruling party in the next election.
I think at your level, you should be able to know the achievements of this present administration. When this administration came on board, the nation was almost rotten. The insecurity was there. The food price was high. Did you notice any fall in food price in the recent past? The insecurity was there before. It's not this administration. So the common man will look at food on your table, and you ask yourself, you are here as a journalist, you are contributing to the economy of this country in one way or the other as an individual. How many of our youths are busy, are self-engaged, not self-employed? There's a difference between engagement and employment. Engagement is where you do something for yourself and earn your living. Employment is where you work for somebody and the person pays you. When people talk about unemployment, I continue to wonder, when you went to school, your parents sent you to school. It's not government. Is it an obligation of the government to give you a job? But you are going to school to acquire knowledge that can help you solve life problems. The so-called job is no longer there. The job is scarce. But there are so many graduates who are doing something for themselves. Even if you call them to give them a job, they say no. They are making it on their own. So there's no question of unemployment. They will always say something. And if they come in the next 4 years, they will fix Nigeria. It's not possible. Opposition will always say something that will make people feel sad. But if you look at it on the ground, I don't need to catalog all the achievements of the present administration.
When we look at these issues, what we'll see is a president that has said, I am Buhari and Buhari is me, meaning that he's been part of the system. It's APC government since 2015.
Of course.
So we can't separate the two.
Of course. Buhari offered him vice president. He said no. He chose Osibanjo. He's not somebody that has voting ambition. He was patient. My concern is that
Unify told us to the contrary, that he wanted to be the vice president, but they were afraid that the Muslim ticket would not sell at that point in time.
Now, when Tinubu chose a Muslim ticket, did he fail the election? Regardless of all the who's and cry by opposition that Muslim. It's even here that we talk about Muslim ticket. In Kaduna State, during the time of Rufai, his deputy governor was a Muslim. We are talking about somebody who will perform. It's here that opposition continue to fan the embers of disunity by mentioning Muslim. Okay, in Enugu State, for instance, or other states, are the deputy governors either Muslim or Christian? So the opposition will always come up with frivolous reasons to make people feel bad. There's no government that will do everything for everybody. But you do your bit, you go away.
In this instance, what we're saying is that there is no opposition in Nigeria that can challenge the APC.
There's no organized opposition. There's no organized opposition.
That we understand you clearly. When you talk about organized opposition, what do you really mean?
The method they're applying. Opposition must come up with an idea, a clear idea.
Must opposition be under one roof?
Okay, if you say if they are not under one roof, it means the opposition is split. Like as it is now. Peter Obi and Kwankwaso is opposition. Atiku is opposition. And they are all going for election to challenge an incumbent. What do you expect? Opposition must come with must speak with one voice, so that it can make meaning, like APC did during the Buhari administration. If you are not organized and you are blaming your problems on the government, it doesn't make sense.
All right, Doc, we'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll continue to probe this issue. Please stay with us.
You're welcome.
The Insight with Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless.
It will take the bold mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter whose ox is God.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last block.
in-depth analysis, expert views, real voices, uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on the Insight with Uche Osai on Aneke TV. Join us. Many thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, we are looking at Nigeria Nigeria major opposition realignment, the Obi Kwankwaso move. And with us in the studio discussing and dissecting this issue is Dr. Gosson Eze, a public affairs analyst. And Doc, let's get back to this conversation. Let's tilt towards the ADC, for example, looking at the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar in this instance. One will look at the fragmented opposition and the fact that he has come out strongly to say that he must be on the ballot in 2027. Shouldn't we lay the blame on his doorsteps for wanting to run one more time in this election season?
You are thinking as an Igbo man. How many of the opposition members have gone through primaries to emerge as a candidate? How many of them have gone through primaries? Atiku has gone through primary. Peter Obi has never gone through any primary to emerge as a presidential candidate.
Why I asked that question?
The same thing with Kwankwaso.
You know why I asked that question, Doc? A number of times we'll talk about the unwritten agreement between the South and the North. And Atiku is one person who has run all through. In fact, in the recent history, since the return to democracy, Atiku has been on the ballot. About 1999, when he ran as vice president to Obasanjo, he's always been in the ballot. He contested against his principal, Obasanjo, and has always been in the ballot. In every primaries, he's been there. And in this instance, people were expecting that he would have played the Tinubu role in the ADC this time around.
He is the person that formed this, who was the person who mooted the idea of going into ADC.
For his own intention?
Of course.
All right, Doc, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll go back to this issue. Please stay with us. The Insight with Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless.
it will take the bold mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter whose heart is God.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last blood.
In-depth analysis, expert views, real voices, uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on the Insight with Uche Osai on Aneke TV. Join us. Many thanks for staying with us. We apologize for quickly running back on break. However, we've been looking at major opposition realignment, the Kwankwaso move. And Doc, we were talking about Atiku Abubakar here. Yes, agreeing with you that he was the one that tried to bring the opposition together.
And he said that should be primary.
But the argument that everyone expected him this time around to be the big brother, bring everyone together, just like Tinubu did for the late President Muhammadu Buhari. They went into the APC and he was pushed forward. Everyone is expecting him not to run in this very election.
Why don't you expect him to run? Why? The president of Cameroon here, it's about 90-something years.
They are not talking about age here. They are talking about the fact that he's always been in the contest.
Yes.
There is opportunity to, one, let the South finish their tenure in this time around. Allow the South to have...
Who is going to finish the South tenure? Is it somebody? Is it Tinubu or another person from the South to complete the South tenure? Who do you expect to complete it?
Doc, would you favor that a Northerner is able to take over in this instance if we are talking about the North-South dichotomy here?
No, what you're saying does not arise. Because it is assumed, it is unwritten agreement that presidency should rotate North and South.
And it is the turn of the South.
The Southerner is there already. The Southerner is there.
So Atiku has no business contesting in a primary this time around.
No, forget about Atiku. We're talking about somebody who has been able to manage a political party.
We're talking about someone whose ambition has decimated the opposition all along.
It's not true.
Look at the PDP. The
It's not
crisis in
true.
the PDP.
It's not true. It's not
He is cited for the crisis.
Okay,
in the PDP.
why did Kwankwasiyya and others run away from ADC?
Because Atiku has refused to give in and want to contest the primaries.
Yes, he said that if there is primary, anybody who wins, fine. That's what Atiku said. But others don't want primary. They want consensus.
Others are saying they can match him dollar for dollar.
Then they should go elsewhere. He's already on the path of being the presidential candidate of ADC. You see, when you don't go to war with a gun that doesn't have bullets, presidential election is a war. It involves a lot of things. Atiku had been he had been participating in so many of these. He's most experienced. If you know positions he has had in politics. I'm not trying to say that even at that, they jumped from somewhere and then jumped into ADC and took over the party executive. Is it done anywhere? They didn't form the party. The party was there before they all decided to go into ADC.
But the neck of the party agreed.
No. Why did they go to court? Why did Murphy and others go to court and say no?
They said that was an afterthought. In fact, they laid that blame on the doorstep of the ruling party, the APC.
How can
we saw the chief of staff to Mr. President encouraging that crisis.
It's not crisis. Listen, you don't encourage crisis where there's no crisis. They will always tell you, you see, I blame yourself for what you couldn't do, or rather what you're supposed to do, which you didn't do. Don't blame it on the incumbent.
Doc, let me digress a bit. What you're letting us understand is that amongst these opposition candidates that try to, congregate under the ADC, that Atiku is the most formidable person amongst them to challenge the incumbent.
It depends. It depends.
On what?
If, assuming Obi and Kwankwaso and others endorsed Atiku, it's going to be a different ballgame. But they had ambition of the position, which Atiku is contesting. So there's no way they could have come together. Atiku is not ready to concede it to anybody. Atiku said, let us go for primaries. Whoever wins, I will support. Why are they running away from primaries? And they jump from one political party to another. Let's see how this one ends.
Are you predicting that this one will go the way of ADC as well?
No, how do they take off? How do they take off? It's not just, you see, there's what you call organized opposition. It is I wouldn't say that the incumbent is capitalizing on their inability to organize themselves well. If they had gone for a political party, new political party, and they merge, there's a different merger and then alliance or realignment. There's never in the history of democracy where you talk of realignment or what do you call it?
Okay, Doc, let's get to Obi issue again. It is a known fact that with the Obi and Kwankwaso movement into the NDC, has necessitated a mass movement. We have 18 House of Rep members who have defected from the ADC to NDC.
These are people who have lost the primaries. Sorry, the choice of representing their people again. Most states, APC states, they organize their nomination of candidates for the election. None of them lost. And they lost because the government feels that if you have stayed 2 tenure in an office, you should give way. Okay? It's not of vendetta. And then because they still want to, people like, what is the man from Abia State? Engineer Beribe. He has been in Senate for so many years. What is he looking for? And these are the people, of course, he has defected from ADC to Labour now. Not even NDC. And others. So they are not going there because they want to go, it's because they have no option. And if they don't do that before the Electoral Act catches on them, they will lose out. So the issue of people defecting does not make any difference. There are people disgruntled because they hadn't the opportunity of being given the third chance or fourth chance to go to Senate or House of Rep. Should give way for other people. That's fairness. So that doesn't make any difference. The question is now, let's see how they organize their party. And let us see when Kwankwaso will say that he's ready to be deputy to P2B. And he will go to the north and tell them that he is accepted to be his deputy. And he will go to the north and campaign. The Northerners are more emotional than the Igbos. So the thing is, where do you stand and tell them? Then he will go to the southwest and tell them that he's deputy to dislodge their own son. No. Like I said before, you see the type of votes that will come from the southwest. No other zone will be as much as that.
No other zone
will cast as much votes as the southwest. Because their son is going for second term. There's no question of party down. And somebody wants to dislodge him, deny him the opportunity of completing his tenure. I mean, it's not possible.
Doc, let's look at the process getting into 2027. You make it seem as if the ruling APC is already running away with it.
Yes, I agree, because the opposition is not organized. And think of a party that has 32 states, governors at its kitty. And these governors are very powerful. I can't see the magic they used to dislodge and have dislodged these 32 governors from their states to win the majority votes. Unless it's unless it's miracle. Because every governor has the obligation to deliver his state. Not just for the presidency, other political positions. You are talking about the presidency now, NDC. They are going to field candidates in other positions, Senate, House of Rep, House of Assembly, and so on. They are going to field candidates. And let's see how it comes up. And then fielding these candidates must be within the time frame the Electoral Act permits. So it's not being sentimental. That's why I said I'm a realist. I say things the way they are. I don't pretend or embellish it with unrealistic thinking.
Doc, let me ask, what are the chances of the NDC going forward in this instance? Because we can speak about the ADC is most likely, from what our conversation in the past, most likely they may not be in the ballot. ADC may not be on the ballot. So I'm asking, what's the future for NDC from your cabinet?
Mark you that this NDC was recently registered political party. It had not been in the ballot before. It's a new political party registered. That makes it about 21 registered political parties in Nigeria.
Since 2017?
Yes. No, this one is not up to even 1 year. They registered 3 more political parties, including this NDC. Let's see how they are going to mobilize and cut across the nation with their votes and their campaigns. I foresee another crack within them.
Another crack?
Yes. I foresee another crack. You see, when your intention is being driven by inordinate ambition, most time it does not work. The Igbo man should sit down and say, who, during the time of Zik, the Northerners and the Easterners had always been working together. That was why Shagari chose Ekweme as the vice president. There had always been political alliance between North and East. But now the North has shifted to South-South. Combined votes of Southwest and Northwest can deliver anybody for presidency. How many registered voters do we have here? Southeast is the lowest.
Doc, let's a little bit away, because you've spoken about the Igbos. What will it be the chance of the Igbos, and what do they need to do for them to take turn?
They need to go into political understanding.
What sort of
with other areas?
That's what Obi is doing.
With who?
We've seen Kwankwaso, we've seen other individual. El-Rufai was more favorably disposed to the alliance with Peter Obi before his incarceration. We've seen the efforts of the Northerners in ADC to have Obi be amongst them. I listened to Babi Chelawa. They allowed Obi to the choice of choosing the party secretary.
All these people you are mentioning are the grassroots. They are nobody. The way they talk is the way they think.
You're talking about the former governor of Kaduna State?
Yes. He's been incarcerated not because the ruling party want to incarcerate him. Even the House of Assembly moved a motion indicting him of more than 400 billion naira. Not everybody. You see, forget about all these things people say. You must plan yourself. If you want to fight a war, you must go with gun that has bullets. The Igbo man need to think again, to reshape itself from the political equation of Nigeria. It has changed. Even anybody, think of other political parties, where they choose their vice presidential candidates. How many of them have chosen an Igbo man? And we think that when Peter Obi chooses Kwankwaso and he accepts, then Kwankwaso will go to the north and tell them.
You are seeing the likelihood that Kwankwaso may not want to be a vice to Peter Obi?
I don't know. Let's see how it plays out with time. Because the question is, what do you tell your people when you come back? Kwankwaso will go to the north and tell them that we should support Peter Obi to complete the tenure of the south. Or you go and tell them that If he comes in, he will serve for 8 years. Then the Northerners will wait for 12 years instead of 8 years. Is it what he's going to tell them? No, it's something that we have to be realistic about.
Right, Doc, let's do a little bit something out of the ordinary. If you are to advise the opposition on what to do within the time frame, within these few months left, what will you be advising them differently? Because he seems to have issue with the way they are organizing and what they are doing so far.
Let me start with Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso has made a political mistake. If Kwankwaso has remained in APC, he would have stood the chance of being the next presidential candidate of the North. I tell you. Because he's eminently qualified. He has been a senator, he has been a minister, he has been a governor for 8 years. He has PhD in civil engineering. His credential is very rich. There was a time it was being speculated that Tinubu will choose him as the next vice president. When this issue of religion came up, he was dropped. I don't know where he's going to pick, who is going to pick next will be a Christian or Muslim. But that was the factor. That's, as far as I'm concerned, there's no candidate in the North that is credible as Kwankwaso. So that is where he has made a very serious mistake. He has gone for a battle that he's definitely going to lose. He would have been patient. The fact is that politicians are not patient. It's a good material. It's a good material. And what matters is, what are you going to tell your people? What did you get for them? These people you are mentioning their names, when they go to their states, what are they going to tell their people? So we must know that we have to get things done well. We can be. The thing is that some of these politicians are running against time. So they're desperately, after taking their turn between now and 2031. So that is their problem. They want to get there before maybe you start counting them as octogenarians. So I think the Igbo man should rethink and reorganize itself to suit the present political equation of Nigeria.
All right, Doc, that's the much we can take today on the insights. I've gotten the signal. To you, our wonderful viewers, let us know what you think about the conversation. Reach us with the hashtag The Insight, all at Aneke TV on our social handles. And we've been discussing with Dr. Gosun Eze, a public affairs commentator and analyst. Doc, before I let you go, let me ask that question again. Do you have a crystal ball somewhere with which you analyze these issues?
My experience in politics.
All right.
And my contact with other people from other parts of Nigeria.
Right. Doc, it's been a pleasure having you on the Insight.
You're welcome.
We look forward to more time where we dissect these issues. All right. Till come your way,
Thank
same
you very
time
much.
tomorrow. I remain your host, Uche Osai. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.